Everyone, go ahead and put yourself on mute. So we're here with Dan Cunningham, our global director in London for Geeklist Hack for Good 0.6, and we brought together an esteemed panel of judges to help us look at some of the remarkable apps. A quick recap of the events: we've got over 150 web apps and products developed over the last 48 hours, or I guess 72 hours now. We've whittled them down in the local judging process and the online judging process to teams of 48 and split them into 9 groups of judges. And from those 9 groups of judges, we are right now in the consumer behavior, food, and shopping judging panel. And the teams that are presenting today come from San Francisco, Berlin, Istanbul, New York, another one from Berlin, Baguio, Philippines, and Melbourne, Australia. And it looks like we're just about to get launched. We've got Andy Grinion, one of our judges, Andy Grinion, who holds the title of first ever iPhone call received by Steve Jobs to an iPhone, as well as an early developer of the iPhone. And we've got Ben, he also has a really incredible new startup that he's working on. And then we've got Ben Galbraith with us, from VP of Global Product at Walmart Labs and Walmart.com. Hi, Ben. We've got Jim Franklin, CEO of SendGrid. Thank you for 3 great years of email processing, Jim. Geeklist is a big fan of SendGrid, and we appreciate your sponsorship of this Global Hack for Good event. Thank you so much. And equally important to mention, Ben's been a huge supporter over at Walmart Labs and sponsored a few of these events as well. And we were actually going to host in Palo Alto at Walmart Labs, but one of the ambassadors got sick and dropped out, and everything fell apart there. So we consolidated to San Francisco, as you do. So, Ben, if you want to switch over to introduce the judges you brought on board, I think you know them a little bit better and could talk towards them.
Yeah, thank you, Ruben. So we introduced this challenge theme after the hackathon had taken place, because so many teams globally recognized that consumer behavior was critically important in the areas of food and shopping and purchases. So we've scrambled quickly to put together quite an astonishing global judging panel for this area, which I think highlights the criticality of it to helping us unite as humanity to address climate change. So I'm pleased to bring on, first of all, David Goldberg, Program Director of Founders Forum for Good. Hi, David.
Howdy.
Good to have you with us. David was a judge in London as well, and is working with us on ways to take hackathon projects forwards and accelerate social impact really across the board.
Yep, very much looking forward to helping.
Excellent. We've also got here Ed Dowding, CEO of foodtrade.com.
Afternoon, everyone.
Would you share a bit about what foodtrade.com is all about?
Yeah, we're trying to sort of be Google cross Wikipedia for carrots. So who's got what where, who wants what where, and who's trading what with who, and then publishing it on a map. And so drawing lots of lines over maps so that everyone can make more informed decisions about what they purchase from, and try and get the nearest things around them and the best things around them.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, so I think, Ruben, shall we get started with our first team?
Yeah, I think before we start, I just want to thank all of you one more time, and go ahead and yeah, let's kick off.
Okay, so we're going to get started with Carl Nicholas, who's a Hack for Good veteran, and where is it?
And it's important to mention, Ben, the 3 minutes and 2 minutes of Q&A.
Yes, absolutely. We've got quite a packed Google Hangout house here, so we will be strict with the 3 minutes. I'll let you know by showing my countdown when you're at 1 minute, and then you know it's time to wrap up.
Be
okay, so
sure to say something too, Dan, because I'm going to switch to the screen. Yep.
Okay, no problem.
Right. Good morning. My name is Carl Nicholas, and we worked on a project called the Green Ferry Project. I'm going to switch over to a screen share so you can see what we did. Hopefully you can see this.
We can see it, but you seem to have muted. Carl, sorry, you muted yourself there. If you start again.
Okay. Well, let's see. Is this unmuted now?
Yes, that's perfect.
Alrighty. And how about now? Is it unmuted? Is it unmuted still?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. This is what the slide looked like. That was the idea that was put up on the Geeklist. CDP is a climate disclosure project, and the specific idea came from Mr. Daniel Hires at No Carbon, and actually he'll be presenting a little bit later in the same panel. Our project card, I found a couple of excited team members in San Francisco, and we built a project, and the project was to make an extension. Let me show you in the upper right hand corner next to the toolbar is an extension button. And if I go to a website that has a climate score as developed by No Carbon, I can click on his button, and the extension, the browser extension, will come up and show you some information about the company that you're looking at. So, for example, if you're looking at Amazon, then Amazon's climate score will come up, which seems to be pretty low. Also, you can compare it with other companies in the same sector. If you don't get, if you go to a company or a location that doesn't have a climate score, then the plugin brings up a form that you can enter information and request that No Carbon, start information for that company. There was really a proof of concept just to see what could be done with their API.
Well, that's just under 1 minute left.
Okay, thank you. It's just a proof of concept to show what could be done with their API. They wanted some feedback. Some of the feedback that we gave them, for example, we know American Airlines is in their database, but they don't have URLs in their database, so the plugin is not able to find it. And really, it took the team, basically a day and a half to put this together. They were very excited to do it, and we had 2 or 3 active members, and we had, I guess, several sort of people pitching ideas and helping us doing testing. And that's about it. I will keep this short and sweet. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of the judges have questions?
Well, it seems pretty self-explanatory. What was the greater purpose? Is it just to surface this data, making it much more readily available, or was there like a larger goal behind it? Carl?
Yeah, no, good question. It was a two-purpose. One was to proof of concept for No Carbon, what can be done with their API. As you see, the plugin that came up was about the size of a cell phone, so you could also make a cell phone app and present the data that way. Then, of course, the second reason was the consumer decision. If people are interested in knowing what the carbon impact of the place they're shopping at is, this plugin gives them a very ready way to do it, not only to look at the carbon impact of the company they're shopping at, but to show other companies in the same sector. So if they wanted to spend the time, they could perhaps choose a different vendor.
Do they actually expose product data? So if you were to say, what's the carbon impact of a Tesla, instead of just Tesla the company, Tesla Model S. I'm just more curious about what the API has.
Right. Good question. I saw brands in the API, but I couldn't tell you, as I wasn't, in the forefront of development, exactly what information would be in that brand. So I don't know.
Where do you see the plugin going down the road?
It seems pretty. It's really all it really does as a plugin is put information from their API out for the user. So it's kind of what does no carbon and what does the climate carbon disclosure project really want to do with it. So yeah, the plugin as a from a development point of view, it needs to be done cross-browser. Again, possibly you could do an application where you're seeing lots of ads these days where they bring up products just by pointing your cell phone at it and it recognizes the product. So an application that would just tell you information about that brand straight up on your cell phone, if that's what you're interested in. You could walk down the food aisle, if you will, pointing your cell phone and getting not just nutritional information but carbon impact information. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, where I was going is I wonder if you could extend it so that as you shop in any location, you could actually see carbon rankings on the companies behind the products that you're looking at in some sort of an e-commerce situation. And I wonder if you'd thought about two alternative interfaces from an opt-in, pop-in on a website to perhaps modifying the page itself when you visit the site or something like that.
Yeah, modifying the page itself is possible. This was strictly a weekend hackathon. People are just it's a day to get ideas together and a day to get something working, and then a half a day to scramble. And so yeah, certainly could modify, inject JavaScript and take over the whole browser. But for proof of concept, this was just the easiest thing to put together.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'd better go on to the next team.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate your comments.
Carl.
Thanks, Carl. Nice idea.
Thank you.
Great work, Carl. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to have Mehmet from Istanbul. And I put these two one after the other intentionally, as they are quite similar. So it'll be interesting to compare. Hi, Mehmet.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mehmet from Turkey, Istanbul. Our project is eco-friendly product spotter Chrome extension, just like before project. We actually did what Ben is asked for. While you are purchasing or looking for things on sites like Amazon or eBay, we highlight the eco-friendly products while you are searching. So why did we do this? We are trying to encourage people to buy eco-friendly products, and we are making it easier to find those products while they are purchasing something. And we did this. Our extension is working for right now Amazon.com, eBay, and for the Turkish e-commerce sites gittigidiyor.com, hepsiburada.com, and n11.com. So let me show you the. Actually, let me tell you how the extension works in the background. We simply analyzes the title and the description of the products, and we highlight it. Let's show you a demo, quick demo. So can you see it now? Yeah, cool. Sorry. So again, we just analyze the keywords right now, and we change the page. Sorry, it loads and slow right now, but you can see the eco-friendly icons on the products that seems to be eco-friendly, and this doesn't have the icons. So that's about it. Sorry. So that's it.
So where are you getting the data from that determines whether it's eco-friendly or not?
Again, as I told you, we analyze the keyword-based.
Oh, so it's just keywords.
Yeah, keywords on the descriptions and the titles.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can make it better by another third-party API integration, and we are happy to make it. If there is any third-party API that gives the eco-friendliness of the product, we can make it done easily.
It's an interesting idea. I actually like the combination of the two, to be honest. Having the inline modification of the website also, but pulling off of the other database deals other guys, Carl did.
Yeah.
I think both of these are very nice in that they do make it, they engage the end consumer a lot more in reinforcing positive behavior and bringing information. I mean, like the CDP data, you know, no one's going to go hunting that down. And I think both of these very strongly highlight and put an emphasis that lots of consumers are looking for on at least nominally sustainable products. So it's fantastic from that perspective. I think the user engagement there is really nice. Some nice potential advancement, you know, post-hackathon features of just surfacing more information about where the data is from and how things are measured, and just bringing making it a little bit more educational as well, and showing some nice graphs behind it and data behind it. But the putting this information in front of consumers is excellent.
Mm-hmm. Well, the real solution isn't necessarily an enhancement to the browser, but having, you know, Walmart or Amazon actually deliver that as part of their actual product database.
Yeah, it's exciting to see how you can prototype this stuff and get the user experience right and figure out where the API sources are. And then, Andy, you're exactly right. Once you get it to a point where consumers find a lot of value out of it, definitely look at integrating that. That's absolutely right.
Great work, Mehmet. How was the hackathon, real quick, how was the hackathon in Istanbul, Mehmet? How many people were there?
It was good, around 20-25 people. We were hacking 5 teams, and it was just a good experience for us.
Great work, man. Thank you so much for being a part of it and joining us there. It's first time we've had Istanbul in the Hack for Good event, and we, you know, we were represented by every continent at this event now. We had 3 countries in Africa, actually, that created apps and built apps in Nigeria, Abuja, and Nairobi, and Lusaka. Had a large group of teams as well, so it was really quite an exciting experience. I just wanted to point out how live and tandem and real it is to have someone from Istanbul pitching a team of judges like this. I'm really glad you guys were able to connect. Thank you, Mehmet. Great work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dan, on to the next team. What do you think?
Yeah, so next up, I think yes, we have Carlos and Jason in New York with BuyMeBuy. Hi guys.
Hi guys, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Yes, perfectly well.
Great.
I like that you put your logo in there. Excellent.
Okay, so we're just gonna get started. So we are BuyMeBuy, and we're an app that reduces food waste using expiry dates. So after this presentation, you'll get a better idea of what the problem we're trying to solve, as well as the challenges that we are trying to address through the climate change exercise. We believe that the problem is waste. 40% of food is discarded due to expiration date confusion, and so that's over 160 million pounds per year in the US alone. But at the same time, over 50 million Americans are struggling to put food on the table. Carbon is often in the headlines, yet methane is 21 times the global warming potential of carbon dioxide, and landfills are responsible for over a third of all methane emissions in the United States. And globally, some stats from the UN Food and Agriculture Organization show that saving a quarter of the food currently already being lost globally could feed 880 million people. So what we're going to do is switch back to the camera for a second and show you our solution. Can everyone see? No? Okay. All right. So I'm going to walk you guys through the functionality of our app. What BuyMeBuy is just it's a list of items in stock at stores prioritized by expiration dates. As an item gets closer to becoming expired, then the discount at which we're offering it grows. So if something's about to go expire, let's say tomorrow, it might be offered at an 80% discount. Whereas if it expires today, it might be offered at 90% discount. And this is just a little prototype that we built over the weekend. And you can search by location radius, distance around you. You can also search by, let's say you're not comfortable buying something that's 90% off and about to expire in a day. You can also use these sliders up here to look for something that may be becoming expired maybe like a week from now. That's 20% off. So that way you can kind of have a more customized search. If you see something that you like within the list, you can simply click on it. You get a little more information about it, and let's say you want to buy that product, you can bookmark it, and it'll be added to your bookmarks list, in which will give you an alphanumeric code that you can then go to the store and redeem for your discount. You'll also notice at the bottom of this item description that we provide quotes around food waste and conservation, so as to educate our public while they shop. So that's a quick overview of our functionality with the BuyMeBuy app. Great. Also, with the environmental education piece, there's a link as well, so you can click the bottom and it'll take you to wherever the source is for the information.
So if you want to read more about the link we provided, you can always click on it and you'll be sent to the source.
Sorry, I realized we weren't sharing the slides, but let's do that now. Where is it? Yeah, this one.
You got exactly what you were doing anyway. Shall we go? Is there a particular slides you want to show? Maybe like 2 or 3 slides max?
Yeah. We'd like to show you guys what our design looks like. We weren't able to integrate it into the app due to time constraints, but this is what to the right what the actual app is going to be looking like.
In version 2.
In version 2, yeah.
So these are the 3 challenges that we're trying to address: the personal impact, consumer behavior, and sustainability.
There we go. I'm not seeing the slides. Is anyone else seeing them?
I just assumed it was a very minimal design.
No, turning screen share.
Is it working?
You know what to do, off and on again. There we go.
Is it working?
The slides are on?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to that slide. So this is what it should look like.
Here's the design.
Stage
2. Don't go to present mode. It's not working. Just show the list you had there.
All right.
That's great.
Okay. Yeah. So these are the 3 challenges that we're trying to address, including the one sponsored by Forum for the Future, who's in here. Thank you. And so if you think that the app is highly scalable and has a lot of impact, we can adjust it to any kind of store or retail situation because it uses data from UPC labels that track expiry date data, and so we can begin to discount things as those dates approach. As well, we think this is a triple bottom line product where the businesses can make more money and also save more money. Customers can save more money because they can choose to get discounted products as the date gets closer to the deadline, and it also impacts the environment in terms of reducing methane emissions in landfill.
We're also exploring the possibility of having a store owner simply upload the items they want on sale themselves, as there's a lot of little stores here that we call in New York, and a lot of those stores don't have any software in place to track any sort of expiration. So we're not pushing any sort of business model upon any store, so as to make ourselves more easily adaptable.
Carlos, Jason, we'll have to go to questions now, so you have to skillfully answer questions with anything else that you wanted to say.
I have a question. I think it's a really cool concept, and I quite like it, actually. My question is, are food sellers going to be interested in discounting more than the day before, like giving any kind of a discount except on the last day of expiry? Because they're going to want to maximize their return up until the very last moment. So how do you foresee sellers actually using it, and in what window will they start discounting?
We're trying not to make any assumptions before talking to the market itself, but if we offer the product via our platform, like way ahead of time, but at a small discount, they can still benefit from the exposure of being on our app as we gain traffic. So maybe they might be able to monetize from the added traffic that they might get in the store and the exposure like within our app, even if it's just at a 10% discount, maybe like 2 weeks ahead before expiration. So these are some things we want to test, and like I said, I'm very careful not to make any assumptions ahead of time before talking to the market. Of course, we assume every store is going to be different and have their own approach they want to take. So.
The other piece is that I don't know if you could see on the screen or not, but there's the radius, GPS, and also discount bars. And so I think the competition generated from our app will be an encouraging thing in terms of helping to reduce prices in terms of the stores around them and creating that kind of competitive price structure.
I think you may want to address the maybe consumer uneasiness of buying newly expired products. I thought you were going to target this to the seller, and then the seller could do the discounting, but the buyer wouldn't know that these prices are coming down because things are nearly expired. It's just sort of a different way to approach using this data.
Right. So some of the educational facts that we were putting up had to do a lot with the key problem that we were trying to address, which is expiry date confusion and the kinds of differing regulations around that. And so people are often confused by the sell-by date or the buy before date and those kinds of things. And so some of those facts will address that on the front end. Sorry, what was your other question?
Jason, you're not on webcam, by the way. I think you're still screen sharing.
Oh,
Is this information going really direct to consumer versus to the seller? And do the sellers then manage their prices independently from sort of the consumer? This is a consumer that made me uneasy to think I'm buying newly expired milk. It's maybe not the way I want to save the world. And so you have to really convince me that it's okay to buy things 1 or 2 days before expiration. Otherwise, I would avoid those products. And so you'd really be looking at a consumer market that has a smartphone, buys an app, and yet is price sensitive enough to buy newly expired food items. So I really want to understand sort of the safety and the value of buying items so close to expiration. So I think just make that a point of education.
Yeah, for sure. And these expiration dates often just mean sometimes they're put in place by the manufacturer in order to indicate peak quality time within the item. It does not necessarily mean that these items go bad. There's stores that only sell. There's some stores out there that only sell expired items, past that expiration date. They're still good to eat. Also, a lot of these stores that throw out these items, sometimes there will be food banks here in the area that will come by and pick up these items. They're still good to eat. It's just that the manufacturer labels expired because past that point, it'll pass its peak quality, and so the manufacturer does not want that sort of image, I guess, maybe behind its brand. I mean, we've yet to talk to these actual manufacturers to see why they're doing that, but that's just one of the what we feel might be one of the things behind it. But it's still all this food, which is still really good to eat, is being thrown away, and that's really sad.
Jason, Carlos, I got to tell you, it's a really, really intriguing idea. And I think one other dimension is that often shoppers want an edge. They want some secret knowledge that helps them find the best deal. And so the idea of having this be a vector like that is really intriguing. I think you hit on the biggest challenge earlier, which is having retailers have the data on the expiration date structured in a way that they can expose it here. But it's worth exploring just using trends and statistics instead of actual matching of expiration dates on a per SKU basis as a way to get the data. But really, really intriguing idea. Great job, guys.
Thank you very much, Ben.
I think on that note, we'll move on to the next team. Carlos and Jason, thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Next up, we will have, I think we've now been joined by Daniel Heinz of Green Shopping in Berlin.
Yes, Daniel Hires, actually. Thank you very much. I am originally based in Berlin, but today I am joining you from Brussels, actually. Maybe here.
Sorry, Daniel, you're breaking up a little bit there. Are you still with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. I'm sorry, I just dialed in kind of in the middle of the presentation of the last group, so I'm a bit unsure as to the format of this.
Sure. So each team and project you have 3 minutes to introduce yourself, talk about the problem that you were solving and how you went about solving it, and then we'll follow that by 2 minutes of Q&A from our incredible judges here.
Great. So what I would do then is share my screen for a short presentation. Is that all right?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Let me try to get this in. Is this working? Can you see?
Yep.
Excellent. Great. So thank you very much. My name is Daniel. I work at an NGO called the Carbon Disclosure Project. What we do is we rate companies on their climate performance. And I'm going to present to you a browser application or a browser extension today that was programmed during the hackathon over the weekend. And the basic idea really is that we as consumers have incredible power. I mean, all of these concepts, I guess, right now are talking about greener shopping. But, I mean, we vote for governments every 4 years, but we really vote with our dollars for the companies we want to see in place, like, every day. So we would really like to help consumers leverage this power and know where their money goes and what kind of companies they support behind this. So the idea was really like, what if your online store, or any store for that matter, really shows this hidden environmental information as a product feature, the same place where people know about price, about other product features like color or quality, but also find out a little bit more about how environmental this product is or the company behind it. And without that information, we really can't make any informed decisions. And I've been looking at this for more than a year now, and looking at the user, and I think it's safe to say even people who are fairly green-minded are fairly lazy. I include myself with that. And so the solution really has to be nearly effortless and has to be very easy to understand. And one of the typical NGO approaches would be to...
Daniel, are you screen sharing? I didn't see your screen.
I'm sorry. You cannot see my screen? Let me...
Okay. Dan, I can see it okay. It was working.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll go out and come in again. It might be my connection. Okay. Go on, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry about that.
You've got about 1 minute left.
Okay, I hope this gets a bit added on to this. So the typical NGO approach would really be to go to an online retailer like Amazon or whoever and ask if they would like to be a part of this and then do a project. But I was sitting with a friend in a Berlin evening outside, and he was like, just hack it. Why don't you do that? So that's how I went to the hackathon and said, like, can we really do this? And I found 2 programmers who wanted to help me with this, and I also found a person from this company called WeGreen, and they do a very similar thing. And what we thought is, why don't we do something that actually benefits the both of us? So in the end, what we actually did, or what the programmers did, is it looks a bit like this. So you can see, like, this is your typical Amazon screen without the browser plugin, and this is how it looks like with the browser plugin. So we added some environmental information on the page, actually, of Amazon without actually asking Amazon, which is the most fascinating thing to me. And one of the great things is that this doesn't only work for Climate Count/CDP right now, but it would also work for WeGreen, which helped develop this. So the user can actually choose like a different information source, and so different like organizations can use this and kind of also tweak it for their needs. With more time, we would actually also look to including this information on the Amazon search page, so you would already see it when you're browsing categories. We would like to extend this to other shopping sites, and I mean other areas of the internet. And ideally, because we as CDP were the big organization compared to Climate Counts, which is one of our sister organizations, we would like to bring our entire data universe to this application. And really what we need to do to move forward, we really have to have like a project manager to kind of manage all of this, define criteria to get additional partners on this, and market it really to the users, and also have a continued developer kind of improving what we have and going back to all of these developments that we really would like to make. And yeah, in the end, I would really just like to get everyone to think about like how cool it would be if we could really leverage this collective power of consumers to change company behavior, because that's in the end what it's all about. I mean, I'm not someone who wants consumers to boycott something, but I really would like companies to see that consumers do care once we make this information transparent, and that they really need to change their ways, because ideally what we want is we go into the store and everything we buy is pretty much climate friendly or doesn't include child labor or, you know, doesn't really hurt the planet or other people. So I hope that didn't go over the 3 minutes too much. And this is the team. And if there's any questions, we're happy to answer them. Did I get cut off?
Thanks, Daniel. No, thank you. Excellent.
Thank you.
Daniel, I love your passion for this project. It very clearly comes through as you're pitching. And I like the design, actually, and it kind of builds on something else we saw a little earlier, another similar type project. But I did like the UI that you added, the interjection into the web page. I thought it was really well done.
Thank you.
Go ahead and turn your screen sharing off so we can say hello and goodbye.
Okay, yeah, I will. As you can see, I am not the developer on the team. I am a bit challenged with finding the screen share to turn it off. Here we go.
Yeah, I think that's strong. It's nicely visual. It's got lots of good data portability. You've got a nice plan for taking it on, and I guess you already are taking it on, right, with WeGreen and CDP. It's good to see a collaboration between you two as well.
Yeah.
And as you say, getting that stuff in front of consumers, brilliant, in a nice visual way. It'd be great to have, like, I'd like something that stops me from buying things, that hides the buy button if it's a company that doesn't meet my thresholds. I think that'd be kind of cool, because you can be tempted to go in with things that, well, just this once, click. No, damn it, I'm going to stick to my principles here. Yeah. Something that helps me do that would be nice.
Could make it proportionally smaller depending on how far away from your principles it is.
It jumps around the screen.
Yeah. We did think about that, like to actually hide the bad products that really like edit your choices, but for now, like we didn't want to go quite that radical step, but I think that could be something that we could also implement as for the hardcore users. Let's call it that.
Yeah, Daniel, great idea, great execution, nicely done.
Thank you very much. Well, I really have the team to thank for that, because, as I said, I have zero technical skills, and it really was all the team, and it's really unfortunate that they're not here today to also stand with you and present. I mean, they deserve the full credit for this. I'm just
well, Daniel, the great thing is you can share this live, share the link to the YouTube video with them. It'll live in perpetuity on the Geeklist Hack for Good YouTube video channel.
Wow, okay.
So you'll be live
now, not before.
Yeah, they can watch it there too.
Yes.
So Dan, you want to move on to the next? We're starting to run a little short. How many more teams do we have?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. We've got 3 more teams to fit in. So let's move straight on to Hunt&Gather in Melbourne.
And what might happen then, what we might do is I might stay on here while you start up the next one at 8 o'clock. Well, 8 my time.
Yeah.
Just one question.
That makes sense if people are able to stay for a few minutes longer.
Just a question, would that apply to me or also the judges, or?
Would which?
The staying on the call, actually.
Actually, we're asking the teams that were on the call to drop and watch onto the YouTube channel shared on the side there, just because Google Hangouts has this nifty limit of 10 people.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful.
You can
watch
it on YouTube.
Great job.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Great work, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Over to you, Sam. Is your audio working?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Seeing a lot of extensions, right? Seems like everyone wants to help people do things better that way. Sam, you there?
think Sam's having some technical difficulties. Do we have the Grab Greener team on here? Or we have? We can go to Jacko, City in Bloom.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience.
No problems. So I'm Jaakko Tulkien, and I'm calling from Madrid, and we did the City in Bloom project, and it's about urban gardens, and I'm producing and distributing locally produced food. Well, actually, food that's grown in cities in these urban gardens, and we wanted to create this kind of a social network or social tool for these people who run these urban gardens to connect and share their knowledge, and also to be able to exchange different kind of products, tomatoes for apples and so forth. And why this urban gardens, why they are important, and it's because, well, it's basically avoiding waste and avoiding use of pesticides and fertilizers, and also reducing the carbon dioxide emissions related to transportation of food. And it's just positive social interaction. You're doing something positive over there in your community, and also about improving food safety. That if you think that there's some kind of problems in supply of food or drought or whatever, then these communities have the know-how how to produce food in their own cities, and can maybe help in some way to improve the food safety, and also it helps people to eat more healthy. So if I would do this kind of a screen share, so I show you how it works, and where is it? I think it's this one. Okay. Are you able to see it? Are you able to see my screen?
No, not yet.
No? Oh.
You may have to choose an option. There we go, yes.
Okay, great. So this is the home page. We had some CSS problems. We really ran out of time.
I can't see your screen, unfortunately. And I
You can't.
see Daniel's a second ago either.
I can't see it either.
Oh, stop. Okay.
Dan, could you check in the control room to see if
about now?
The screen sharing?
I could see it for about 5 seconds. Yeah.
You saw it briefly.
Weird. You know what? We'll wait for you. Jump out and jump back in. Just refresh.
I also wasn't able to see any of Daniel's screen share either, so I just heard his inspiring chat rather than saw any of the product.
Really?
Well, okay, can you see it now? Well, now. Desktop start screen share. Now?
Yep.
Great. So this is the...
just 1 second. I notice we've been joined by Matthias. Matthias, are you from the Grab Greener team?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So sorry to interrupt, Jaco. After City and Bloom, then we can go to Hunt and Gather with Sam, and then Grab Greener with Matthias. I have to jump off and go on to our next call on resilient communities and impacts of extreme weather. It's been a pleasure to have this session with all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the teams for building incredible things, and to all our members of the judging panel for your incredibly valuable input.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, Dan. See you.
Thanks, Dan. I'm not a producer in here, so you'll need to come back to.
It will time out after you all leave.
Okay, great.
And we can edit it afterwards. All right, thanks. Bye.
So I continue now. So anyway,
Yes.
Here's the tool to find these gardens that you might have in your area. For instance, I live in Madrid, so you have the gardens over here in Madrid. And for some reason it's okay over here. You have what they offer and what they need. It's not yet ready, and then the chat there's actually a small bug over there. It's showing all the conversation between, because the creator was the same as the message sender, so it's kind of a small bug over there. Hi, and then it's just there it is then, and that kind of stuff. And then you can also very easily create your own gardens over here. Just wherever you live. I don't know, New York, and over here, garden, New York garden.
Jaco, can hold on one second for me, guys. Can you see his screen or what's going on there?
Yeah, I can see it. Sure.
No, one thumb down.
Yeah, I can now. I dropped the call and went back in.
Okay, hey guys, I've got this YouTube video over there. I think it's easier for me to just share. It's like 1 minute video on YouTube. So if you want to check it out, it's maybe that's the easiest option. So.
Cool. Can you paste the link in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thanks.
We can all have a moment of silence to watch the video.
Yeah. So over here, this is the chat, I reckon. So this, this website, this was made using by Django, and then we used this PostGIS extension for PostgreSQL, and the front end was made by using Bootstrap. But
Jaco,
basically,
this is Ben. I got to tell you, I really like this idea. I was just talking with one of my good friends about our desire to figure out where we can find local produce and locally produced foods, and the idea of sort of a map-based social network for gardens where you can connect with the producers and chat with them, and you could even imagine extensions to sort of buy futures of product that the garden produces and things. It's a really great idea. I love it.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm not sure if this is working now. Can you see me?
I see.
Can't see.
Neat idea.
Yeah. And there was some, the search for products. We forgot to add the CSS file, so it looked kind of blank.
I think we got the flavor for it. So I saw the video. It looks pretty good.
Do you see this? I have a question. Do you see this as something just for large markets to use? And I didn't catch that.
Well, I think in a way you can think in Western countries this is more for people who are really interested in this kind of green things. But for instance, in developing countries, food, cost, buying food, is about 50-60% of your income. So those people really could benefit from this service because they could set up their own urban gardens and ask other people how to grow their own food over there. So this could also have impact in developing countries as well.
Very cool.
Did you do much market research before developing the idea?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. We just met at the meetup and at the hackathon and started, throwing ideas.
Okay. There are quite a few things out there that already do the similar thing. It would be quite nice to see an aggregator of them all at some stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's something called Right Near Me that's a beautiful implementation of a similar idea, but there are so many that sorry. I mean, it's a great. It's sign of a great idea, right? But it is. There are so many of them that I forget all the names, but there are lots. It's an